thought Disney pin trading would be a fun little souvenir hobby, but I quickly realized there's a lot more to it than buying a pin and trading with cast members. After years of trading throughout Walt Disney World, I've made some mistakes, overpaid for pins, traded away pins I wish I had kept, and learned some valuable lessons along the way. So if you're thinking about getting into Disney pin trading, or you've just started, these are the 5 things I genuinely wish someone had told me before I began. They would have saved me time, money, and a whole lot of regret.
Hi everyone, I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Joni.
And this is Mom and Me and Disney. And today we are in the Epcot Breezeway to do some pin trading.
So come and join us.
Pin trading has become one of our favorite Disney hobbies. It's something that adds an extra layer of fun to every park day, and it gives us a reason to slow down, explore shops, and interact with cast members and other guests. But looking back, there are definitely a few things I wish I had known before diving in. Hopefully these tips help you avoid some of the mistakes we made. One of the biggest surprises for us was learning that just because a pin is on a Disney trading board doesn't mean it's authentic. There are thousands of counterfeit or scrapper pins floating around Disney property. They often make their way onto cast member boards after being purchased cheaply online. When we first started, we were so excited to trade that we just grabbed anything we thought looked cool. Later, we learned how to spot common signs of fake pins like rough edges, blurry paint lines, incorrect backing stamps, or colors that don't quite match the real versions. The good news is that you don't have to become an expert overnight. The more you trade, the easier it becomes to recognize quality pins. If you're collecting for fun, it may not even matter much. I have plenty of scrapper pins in my collection because I just like them. But if you're building a collection you're going to keep for years, learning how to identify the authentic pins is one of the best skills you can develop. This is probably the biggest money-saving tip I can give. When we first started pin trading, we bought almost all of our traders inside Disney World. While they're beautiful pins, they're also one of the most expensive ways to build trading inventory. Instead, buy authentic trading lots from trusted sellers before your vacation. You'll pay far less per pin, which means you'll have more pins available to trade once you're in the parks. That also gives you more freedom to trade for something you really love instead of worrying about giving up a pin that costs you $15. And if you don't want to trade with people because you just don't trust them on like eBay or whatnot, which I totally understand, then consider buying them when they have deals at Box Lunch or Hot Topic or any other licensed Disney pin provider. This sounds obvious until you're standing in front of a board and get caught up in the excitement. Early on, I traded away a few pins simply because I thought that was the point of pin trading. And that's what it was all about. Later, I realized I actually missed having those pins in my collection. Now we have one simple rule. If we truly love a pin, it stays in our collection, and we only trade our designated trader pins. Remember, Disney releases new pins all the time, but sometimes older designs become difficult or expensive to replace. If a pin makes you smile every time you look at it, keep it. Before we started trading, I assumed pin trading was all about finding rare or valuable pins. What surprised me the most was that the real magic comes from the experience itself. Some of our favorite Disney moments involve chatting with cast members, discovering hidden boards throughout the resorts, finding mystery boxes tucked away in shops, or meeting other guests who are just as excited about trading as we are. Pin trading encourages you to slow down and notice details you might otherwise walk right past. It has taken us into gift shops we never would have visited and sparked conversations we never would have had otherwise. The pins are wonderful, but the experiences and the people are what keep us coming back. This might be the most important lesson of all. Some people collect only princess pins. Others collect attraction pins, holiday pins, Figment, Stitch, resorts, or limited editions. Some people only trade with cast members, while others love attending pin events or trading with fellow guests. There's no right or wrong way to enjoy this hobby. Don't feel pressured to collect what's popular or quote-unquote valuable. Collect what makes you happy. Your collection should tell your Disney story, not someone else's. Once we stopped worrying about what everyone else was collecting, pin trading became so much more enjoyable. And we do collect almost a little bit of everything, to be fair. Cheyenne collects princesses, all of the different princesses. She has many boards around Cinderella, Snow White, etc. I personally collect Marie, and then I have a smaller collection of Genie and Dumbo pins, as well as a pretty big collection of Winnie the Pooh. And Jason collects Stitch and some of the Star Wars pins. So as you can see, we cover a lot between the three of us. Here's one extra tip I wish someone had shared with me. Bring a small pin book or organizer instead of throwing your pins into a backpack pocket. Not only will it keep them protected, but it'll make trading so much easier because you can quickly see what you have. Plus, there's something really satisfying about flipping through your collection at the end of the day and seeing what the new treasures are that you have found. We recommend the Pinfolio boards from Pin HQ or Go Pin Pro. They actually have a store in the Orlando area, and if you are looking for something to use in the parks that's easy and maybe even fashionable, they have a wide range of products for your house, for the parks, and the boards that allow you to just stick pins in, so highly recommend them if you haven't checked them out in the past. All right, so those are the 5 things I honestly wish I had known before getting into Disney pin trading. Looking back, every mistake taught us something, and they've all made the hobby even more enjoyable over time. And I'd love to hear from you. If you're already into Disney pin trading, what's one thing you wish you had known when you first started? And if you're brand new, what questions do you still have? Let us know down in the comments because I'd love to help you answer them. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Mom and Me and Disney for more Disney World adventures. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the parks.